Welcome back, everybody, to this edition of a speaker spotlight for Rise, a Roofer Road Show coming to Carlsbad, California, and Seattle, Washington next week. I keep saying San Diego because, man, I'm flying in there, right? But today I have a very special guest, a friend of mine, the vice president / co-owner of American Commercial Roofing. They're kind of just all over the country. And his name is Adam Eskew. Adam, how's it going, man?
Hey, man, doing all right, TJ? How you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm glad to finally have you on a live podcast or broadcast with me. And I was just talking to you about the conversation that I was having with Diego Dante at RoofCon the other day. RoofCon, shout out to RoofCon, one of our newest sponsors in Rise. We're excited to have them a part of this as well. But tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your background in roofing.
Well, man, I got the classic roofer story. Started with a little small town roofing company about 12 years ago or so. Started out of the church, man. We never really got much bigger than maybe a couple million, and didn't really love a lot of the things that went on. Not that anybody was doing anything bad per se, just we didn't have it figured out, and it was tough to grow.
Right.
So from there, little bit of a journeyman, not 10 or 15 companies, but, about 2 or 3 companies over the course of 12 years with a stop for about a year and some retail sales for a premium window and door company led me to an opportunity here at ACR. I was doing some sales training more on the residential side. And their goal was to be more of a commercial based company. So we kind of found a middle ground there where, we used the residential to fuel the commercial and build the network and relationships. And, next thing you know, I'm here about going on my third year here with ACR and doing roofs all over the country, man.
Yeah, you and I met back when I was doing some short time, some supply stuff, and then, some other things that we were doing. But I've recognized you as somebody who also has a specialty in working with military bases as well as some very large properties.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say we specialize in military bases. We definitely we were on one, and we had to learn fast. I'll put it that way. But through that trial by fire, we definitely worked out a very stronger network of contractors across the country who have helped us do, multiple trades, apartment complexes. And so that's been really cool, man, to just you actually were a big part of that. You made an introduction to a couple of people actually who helped us finish that project. And we were able to go on and do more than one property with some of those connections that were made.
Yeah, you know what? People call me a connector. That's for sure. If I ever die or leave this world, I want people to know that I connected a lot of people. So, but tell us a little bit about this. With work-life balances being such an issue these days, what's your favorite non-roofing thing to do? I know you travel a whole lot, but tell us a little bit about something that you like to do not roofing.
Man, it's just being outside mostly, but I'd say fishing is up there. I was kind of saying it's funny. I'll go fishing anytime. So, doing this, we don't get a ton of time to do it. So it's pretty cool. Last month, I've been bragging about I caught fish in 3 states in 1 month. So that was my big June record.
That's awesome. Back when I was a police officer for many years, a lot of people don't know that. Maybe they do. But I kept a small fishing pole in my car that collapsed down. That was the size. It was like a foot long. But in the middle of the night, man, there was nothing else to do. I just cast off in the river in Virginia there. But no, man, that's awesome. Your kids? You have any kids?
Yeah, I got an 11-year-old and I've got a 2-year-old.
No, 11 and 2, man. That's awesome. Both ages that I'm dealing with currently, 1.5 and 10 and 9. So, man, does it get any easier when they get to 11? Tell me it's easier.
No, I mean, it's a completely different ball game there, brothers. Yeah. It's like you got 2 kids who need highly specialized care that's not remotely close to each other.
Right. One is teenager care. One is a little bit baby, right?
Oh yeah, we got a husky pup to throw in there too. So that's been fun.
Nice, man. I love the dogs. I have a Dalmatian myself, so the Dalmatian's always around the kids. I make them go away so I don't have to worry about them. But tell me, are you a book reader? Do you read any books? Have you read any recently?
So I do read books. I'm actually reading, I think it might be sitting right there, but I'm actually reading a book by Roger Bryan. I'm in the Raising Millionaires club with him. My good friend and business partner, Robert Posey, put me in there. It's just a book about the fundamentals of setting your kids up for success through setting up IRAs, setting up life insurance early and allowing them to have a way to self-fund things. I haven't been reading as much recently here, it being peak season. I know that's a bit of a cop-out or an excuse.
No,
but
it's busy season right now.
Definitely. But prior to that, I was doing a lot of reading on like traction and, rocket fuel and a lot of things that a ton of roofers have been reading recently or over the last couple of years. I was revisiting that because we are looking to move back towards the EOS type of operating system here at ACR. It's just time to really take that a little more seriously. So those are the only two that I've really been reading here recently.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's great. Reading those books, especially about how to build your children's lives, I'm very interested in that as well. I don't know if you know Rand Man, but he also sells life insurance, and he's always talking to me about that as well. Who's somebody that you look up to?
Oh man, there's a lot of them, man. Are we talking in the roofing industry or just in general?
In general, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be about roofing. Just tell me somebody you look up to and why.
In the industry, I look up to my business partner, Dan. That's kind of the easy way out, but he's got multiple businesses. He's got a larger home building company that does about 10 times what we do. So, he's kind of been there in different ways and has his hand in the distribution. So just seeing how he's able to connect all the dots like we're talking about with people and with resources is really impressive. My good friend Robert Posey, who I mentioned earlier, man, he's been a mentor to me over the years, and he's just a sales guy. He dips into the roofing space as well, but again, just a great connector of people. And one of my best friends in the world is actually a famous artist. I like to plug him anywhere I can, but Teddy Swims. If you don't know him, you should look him up. But I got to watch him, just tapping on keys, teaching himself how to sing and play piano in high school, all the way to touring the world. So just people who have an organic ability or ability to attract people organically, man. Those are the people that I like to watch the most, and they all do it in different ways, which is really fun.
Right, man. I've known Robert for a few years as well. Forgive me, is he still over at RoofCon, or has he moved on from that? I don't remember.
No, he's primarily focusing on remoterep.com, and his sales professionals group. Recommend you guys check that out if you get a chance.
Sure.
But yeah, man, he's a lifetime member over there, Revolt Group, though, and he's definitely always willing to lend a hand to anybody who's with the RoofCon team or in the roofing community.
Man, I love that. Revolt. Tell me a little bit about Revolt and how that's helped you. I know Revolt's helped a lot of roofers, and I want to give you a little opportunity to plug it here.
Man, I'll tell you, Revolt. Posey actually made an introduction through Revolt for me, and was able to get me in touch with a capital manager of a large logistic company with several hundred properties across the United States. And I was able to team up with Eric Schlossenberg, who's a big part of the ACR team here in Gideon, as well. As you see, the Gideon team helps basically consulting with roofers who might need a little extra push on the commercial side, might not be their wheelhouse, and also helps property management companies who need to find a qualified contractor. So we kind of all were able to come together to support this capital manager, and we were able to check out four roofs in 4 states, 3 of them in 2 days and 1 of them just a few days later. And since then, we've done over 6 figures in business with them in the last 6 months, and we are their go-to contractor. So that's just one of the relationships. I know Dan's been helping a lot of guys out as well, doing schools in Ohio and all kind of stuff. So it's been a tremendous resource. We had 3 guys from Oklahoma come and train at our office, a small residential team. So I can't say enough about how much those guys do and how great it is to be part of that team and that network.
Yeah, no doubt. I've had an opportunity a few times to go be a part of that, but it just always seems that I'm always busy doing something else. I need to make time for those guys and you, just because being busy isn't an excuse, right?
Right.
But tell me a little bit about what kind of marketing your business is doing now, and how much of it is organic. Social growth. I've been watching your videos. I love you guys' videos, but tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Man, so I tell you, I feel like we're probably like a lot of roofers in the sense that's it always feels like the missing piece of the puzzle, even if something is kind of working for you, right?
Right.
So we have been making a strong push on just having our team and our guys build their personal brands a little better. And I feel like that's, a few of our guys really are kind of starting to get that, and it is starting to show that they're getting on the residential side, particularly that kind of trickle down effect of not having to work for every single lead. On the residential side, man, we do lie heavily on the door-to-door stuff. We've had a little bit of the Facebook ads and things like that, but
Sure.
We're really trying to drive the bus in the direction of building your own brand, taking care of your own properties, or your own customer referral base through your organic social media. And it's really worked out. One of our guys actually was here working at the office with me here. He had, I think, 7 or 8 inspections come through a competition. We did a 30-day competition on a Facebook post. He had like 7 inspections came out of it, 4 or 5 sales, and like his first commercial inspection all came from it. So
wow,
that's kind of what we're trying to work on. But we have a very strong door-to-door foundation that served us well.
A door-to-door is always going to be king. Everybody always is like, oh, people are going to stop answering the door. No, they're not. They're just going to get more wittier on how to not answer the door, right?
Right.
But being able to reach people organically, sitting on their couch and wanting to actually watch your videos, that's what I preach to everybody out there. So good stuff, man. I think Facebook ads are great, and then Instagram ads too, or in YouTube now, right? People are sleeping on TikTok still.
No, man. My TikTok, I've got my first couple leads off of there, man. But I tell you, on the commercial side, our best networking strategy has just been to help other contractors who want to get where they can't be just yet.
Sure.
And just to co-op and be able to partner with other people who may have opportunity they don't want to lose. So, it's fun.
Are you guys finding it harder to make sales with the way that the economy has been this year, or is it still full steam ahead?
I don't know that I'd say it's harder. We have adopted a little bit of a shift on the residential side and how it is we approach things, a more retail-based approach. The Gen Silver one industry model, we have a version of that. And that's done pretty well. I think having a retail background and having offered financing for a couple of years now, most of our guys are able to close that gap at a pretty good clip. It's all about setting that expectation and not telling homeowners, hey, insurance is going to pay for everything. Like, that's just not always the case. It's becoming more common that it's not the case. And, when you can really
proper expectation,
right. When you can really highlight the fact that, I think most people, if you ask average Joe off the street, he's not going to sit there and tell you like, yeah, my insurance has my best interest at heart. Of course they do. Like, no one thinks that,
Right.
So if you can highlight that and have a healthy grown-up conversation that, hey, would you settle for less?
Right.
If the answer is no, then that's our customer. And if not, I really encourage my guys to fire customers fast.
Yeah, it's so hard. My better half, Karina, sells houses, and when people go to buy a house, they're required to have homeowners insurance. But a lot of times they're not actually going and finding out what the homeowners insurance is that they're purchasing. So they have no idea what's in those deck pages. And I encourage her when she's talking to those people to make sure that they know what they're buying, and not just the limited amounts or the cheapest policy. So good stuff, man. Yeah, educating homeowners and business owners on procedures and understanding what you're about to go through. It's worse than going to the dentist. But if you set those expectations properly, then they should be a win-win for everybody. So tell me something that you tell your team to stay or get motivated to go out and get more sales. Sometimes we all get in a little slump, right? But then other times we're just full steam ahead, but it might seem like a couple weeks go by, maybe we don't have a sale. But I know that didn't happen to me, but there are some people out there that do need that little kick in the butt.
Man, I'll be honest, we really try to preach more so discipline over motivation, right? So at the beginning of the year and then, throughout the year, we do try to do at least some exercises periodically and then have a retreat where we kind of go over, the personal side of why people do this and just kind of try and point back to it. So my main thing is I always ask people, are you a boss that you would respect, right? So in this industry, even if you're W-2, you're likely not given a calendar, right? You're not given a schedule that you have to be here at this time. So even if you are W-2 for IRS reasons, tax reasons, you still operate kind of as a self-employed individual, full commission worker 9 times out of 10. And so, and most people have had a job outside of the industry at some point. And so it's very easy for me to say, hey, man, at 7 o'clock in the morning, where were you on your workday? Oh, well, I was waking up. 7:30, where were you? Oh, I was in the shower. 7:45, where were you? I was in the car, right? 8 o'clock, what are you doing? Walking through the door, right? Perfect. Why? Because if your boss caught you doing anything outside of that, what would the situation be? Well, I'd be in trouble. There'd be an issue. Right. And you respected that boss enough, whether you loved him or hated him, you respected him enough to avoid that conversation, so you showed up on time, right?
Yeah.
So when you wake up in the morning,
that's the thing you don't want to be fired for, is not showing up on time or not showing up at all.
Right. So when you wake up in the morning and you're brushing your teeth and you're looking yourself in the eye in the mirror, do you respect that guy enough to show up at the time you told him you were going to be there? Because if you don't, then how do you expect your team to show up for you and respect you and do that same thing? And so we just kind of try to go back to that, being disciplined enough to be an authority that you respect yourself, right? Like you should, self-respect.
Somebody just said, I'm sorry if it says Facebook user, so it doesn't have a name here, but setting the expectation is an important thing, because the experience goes south when you're clear on how this process goes, what to expect, and what the customer should do. That's a great comment there. Tell me a little bit about how you're educating your team. Are you doing anything different to stay ahead of the curve?
So the main thing is, like I said, we did adopt a version of the retail first model. And so we do go through those questions. We actually have a document that is like question answer format if they want to do a policy review, and a lot of homeowners don't. And so what I do is I have my team, we go through, we do the inspection, we come down, we share everything with the homeowner, and we just ask simple questions. Do you know about your due diligence period? Do you know your due diligence period on filing? Do you know how long you have to collect depreciation? And a lot of people don't, right? And so that just kind of drives that urgency that it's probably better to make a decision now than later. And it's just about asking good questions. So, I just really try to motivate the team or teach the team, encourage them to ask questions that expose how much, the homeowner doesn't know. And it's not to put them in a position where they're vulnerable. It's to show them that they are vulnerable. Like insurance isn't out here telling you that a storm happened or encouraging you to file a claim. They're waiting for you to figure it out on your own. And if we're here and the damage is here, it's probably best to strike while the iron's hot, because if you miss that window, you are the only person in the entire equation at risk, And so when you can do that well, I don't think that the system really changes a lot of the landscape. I mean, another thing is early on, even before we sign the contingency or the contract, we always try to have them price condition. It's a little, it's very common in retail. No one does it in insurance. I don't know why. But if I can explain to a homeowner, hey, maybe you have an ACV, maybe you have an RCV, but if you could get a $20,000 to $30,000 project at 30, 50, 70% off, maybe even 90% off, wouldn't that be a no-brainer? And when you do that, you get the homeowner thinking in big numbers, because it is big numbers, and maybe things don't come back super favorable. But if I can get a $25,000, $30,000 roof for $5,000 or $10,000, that's still the best deal I'm going to get this year. And I wouldn't want to gamble that money that's on the table away trying to change. A lot of contractors say, hey, change your insurance costs back. Well, you still have to have a storm date. Something else still has to happen. You may still have to put up a fight later. So that's just kind of what we do, man. A little price conditioning so that things don't have to come out perfectly and you're still in the driver's seat.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What's one piece of technology that you guys have implemented into your company in the past year, and anything new coming soon?
Well, so we implemented Roof Link. So we changed CRMs a couple of times, and that's really the only major tech swap that we've had. Now, that said, we do have wraps going out, and here's the more exciting, the sexy version.
I think we lost that. Are you there, Adam? It's cutting in and out there just for a second. Maybe it's coming back. Just give it a minute. So, are you there? Hold on one second. Still trying to get you back here. But thank you, Preston Kierson, for that last comment. I saw that who made it. And now you're back now, Adam. Sorry about that.
So, Dan, the most exciting technology that we're doing. Oh, you know what? That's not true. We just got one of the drones that does heat scans.
Oh, yeah.
I talked about that last week. Dan got that to do some work. a very nice drone, very recent. But what we're excited about is we just put a roofer instant estimator QR code on a pontoon boat out at Dave's Lake House that just got slammed by hail. So
Nice.
One of our newest door-to-door residential guys, he signed 11 contracts yesterday out on the lake. And pretty soon we'll have
were any of those from the instant estimator?
No, not yet. But we just got that wrapped last week as well. So that is about to deploy, and they will have a roofer instant estimator QR code on Council Grove. And I'm about to get my truck wrapped and have the get your instant quote in 30 seconds. That's the call to action on the truck. So we're very excited to deploy that coming up here soon.
Man, that makes me excited for you guys. I love seeing how people are utilizing the QR codes or the instant estimator to drive traffic. If you guys don't know what the instant estimator is, it's a widget or a tool that goes on your website that you can give somebody either a link, or you can give them your website, or even scan a QR code, and they can get an instant estimate with just a few clicks of a button after they answer a few questions. Less than 30 seconds is what it takes to get that. And so many people across the country are winning by using that. You're able to put in whatever materials that you offer and make a great presentation before you even get to speak with the homeowner or the business owner. So good stuff, man. How much would you say that technology has changed the roofing industry or your business?
Oh man, it's day and night. It's I was actually just talking about this the other day. I didn't know about cougar paws until I was, several months into putting my fingers up under 3 tabs, trying to crab crawl up roofs in tennis shoes. I was also 17. I would never do that today. So please don't crucify me on Facebook for being a child.
It's all good.
But yeah, man, the safety stuff is just incredible. For one, just the ability to move faster. Like if you don't have pitch hoppers to help you, safer, yes, but just the efficiency of it. Being able to do the instant estimator door to door, the competition. So, I can't tell you how many jobs we get because a contractor signs a contingency and refuses to give the homeowner a contract. Here's the deal. I tell homeowners all the time, it's not uncommon. I don't think that they're trying to do anything shady. It's just how they operate. And still a lot of homeowners say, hey, listen, like if you're not going to give me an estimate, I'll find someone who will, right? Yep. So of course you're going to produce an estimate. You send it to them. And what do? They see that it's pretty close and they want to go with you. So when you have an instant estimator ability, you're going through everyone's knocked. You're the 5th contractor I've talked to. Maybe they've signed with someone, maybe they haven't, but they just don't have any time for you today. All you have to say is, hey man, if I had about 30 seconds, to give you a number, would you just want the number and you can call me later? And they're like, 30 seconds, you're going to give me a number? Yeah, if in 30 seconds I could just give you a number, would you be interested in having it in your email? You call me when you're less stressed out about this. That's – if I would have had that 10 years ago, get out of here, dude.
You know what? I was talking with Eric Richardson the other day. He's one of our main speakers in Carlsbad, and he doesn't quite understand the whole insurance or storm chaser model like I've come from, and a lot of us have come from.
He sells shade, baby.
Having a door knocker show up at the door, getting a contingency agreement signed before the inspection ever occurs is the way that I was trained, man. We would send our door knockers into the neighborhood. They come back with a contingency agreement based off of the insurance scope. And people hate that. They hate that model. But for real, man, that's made a whole lot of people a whole lot of money. And maybe it's not the right way to go about it these days, but that's the way that a lot of us were taught. And that's why maybe we're in some of the predicament that we're in with the insurance carriers now. Some of the things that we've done with homeowners and business owners. Maybe it could have been a little bit different. Tell me what's next for your company, man. Where are you guys headed? I know the reason I chose you for Washington is because you just recently opened up a shop out there. Man, we see you growing.
So we have a small satellite out in the Post-Fall Spokane area. We're doing the St. Dominic School. It's a small boarding school out there. So all the sisters are out there watching us throw some shingles on as we speak, actually. Nice. But yeah, the main thing is we're really trying to attack just commercial relationships, trying to I like to call it weatherproofing the company, right? We don't want to be dependent on hailstorms and stuff, and also, recession proofing. So, our next step is just getting a little more solidified in the commercial repair space, which obviously will lead to larger stuff. I've been talking to Ryan Groth and the STG group. Those guys are awesome, about some implementation stuff on that. And also just nurturing the relationships that we do have. I mean, we're dealing with several national brands right now that, not to say we're doing hundreds of millions with them by any means, but, I've been on or invited to, over 1 million squares of roofs. A million square feet of roofs. That'd be crazy. 1 million squares.
Million squares. That's not
tell you about the fish stories later, but So in the last few months, and that's been really awesome. So just about supporting the contractors in our network. One of the unique approaches, or unique, I feel, I don't hear a lot of people doing it, approaches that we are doing is we kind of tie that revolt group in. And when there's things that may not be a place we're licensed, or things that may not be a place that we can easily service, it doesn't mean we can't still be a solution in some capacity and still retain control of the relationship and of the customer experience. And so I'm able to lean on the other contractors that I know. So, that's the thing. We just want to keep co-oping with people that we know are quality, reputable contractors through trusted network sources that we have. And in doing that, we get to provide just phenomenal customer experience and a duplicable process from the customer's point of view, at least.
Right. David Summerly is in here. He just said, gave a contractor a rough drawn sketch with measurements from a roofing lead, and he was able to throw it in roofer for a more accurate takeoff, and it was impressive. Thanks for the comment, dude. You know what? One of the things that people don't realize about roofer is that we have this incredible DIY tool that also works with blueprints, and roofers are being able to get their estimate done the roofing measurement done for free right now, just doing it themselves, uploading the image into the system. Real quick, before we close, if you've got a question for Adam or me, please throw it in the comments here, and we'll get it answered. To close on your end, Adam, tell us one piece of advice or a word of wisdom that you would like to share to aspiring roofing contractors or even salespeople that are looking to build an empire for themselves.
Just get started. I feel like, I had like a little failure to launch 2 or 3 times before I ever really just kind of dove into the next step. When it comes to sales, you have to go and take the reps. You got to get the knock. It's going to be for you or it's not. But I feel like we spend a lot of time, what's called analysis paralysis, just kind of thinking, can I do it? Should I do it? When this next thing comes, I'll do it. If this shoe drops, I'll do it. Just go do it. There's no perfect time. There's no right time. And at the end of the day, if it's not going to be a good fit, fail faster, find that out, get it out of the way. And the other thing would be, if you have made it a pretty good distance and you failed, why jump to the next thing? You learned more than you could possibly learn, with quick success somewhere else. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and, don't make the same mistake twice. Right.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's so easy to give up out here these days and go do something else that is easy, right? But if you want to make good money and you want to build an empire for yourself, you just got to get at it. Roofs by Dawn, Donovan Morgan said it just best the other day. He's like, I wouldn't have built Roofs by Dawn or even, every single day of the rap video if I just didn't go do it. He's like, just you got to get on it. There's so many great Atlanta roofers, by the way, or Georgia roofers. I could call them all out, but what a great event last week. Real quick, we're getting ready to go to San Diego, or I keep saying San Diego. We're going to Carlsbad, California next Tuesday, and then Seattle, Washington next Thursday for our event, Rise a Roofer Roadshow. If you want to get your tickets, get them now by going to roofer.com/rise. It's in the very bottom right-hand corner of the screen there. Tickets are $25. We want to make sure that you're going to show up and we're going to feed you well. So we want to make sure that we have a proper count for that. That's why we're charging some dollars there. But real quick, for people at home who don't know what Roofer is roofing measurements, both residential, commercial. We can do it for you for $10 in 3 hours, or you can DIY it yourself, depending on whether or not you use your own image or use one of ours. It could be up from anywhere from free to $3. But then also our digital custom sales proposals that our team helps you implement and design with that makes sure that you don't need any DocuSign. And then what Adam was talking about just a few moments ago about the instant estimator tool. And then all of the people out there are looking forward to having the CRM coming soon from Roofer. But stay tuned for more tools. But Adam, it's been so great talking with you today. I told you 20 minutes. I'm sorry it's been 31. The conversation was so great with you. Thank you so much for giving up some of your time today to talk with me. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week in Seattle. For everybody else, again, roofer.com/rise. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys. I'll be at Orlando tomorrow. Are you guys going to be in Orlando?
I will not be in Orlando tomorrow, no, sir.
I'll be in Orlando for the Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal, it's going to be a fun time. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in a couple of hours. I'll be back here live for the next live event, and then if you guys are going to be on, don't forget I'm giving my social media masterclass in about 25 minutes. And I'll be teaching for about an hour. So if you're interested in learning about social media and roofing and how you can grow yourself organically, jump on that. And then the registration, go to roofer.com and you can get registered right now. But thank you guys. We'll see you guys soon. And Adam, hold on 1 second. I'm going to end the broadcast, make sure everything goes off without a hitch, and then we'll say goodbye to each other in the backside there.
Awesome, man.